and he's one of the most cited lecturers of the University of Mines and Technology, Takwa. In fact, Dr. Sunkari has more than 1,000 cited. I mean, he has been cited more than 1,000 times in various journals. So, Dr. Sunkari, you are welcome to this important discussion.
Thank
And
you
I
so
would
much.
also like to, thank you. I would like to also present the co-author of Dr. Sunkari. We have Mr. Salam Jansbaka Adams. Jansbaka Adams is an assistant lecturer at the University of Environment and Sustainable Development in Ghana. He's also a PhD. He's doing PhD in nuclear earth science at the Department of Nuclear Sciences at the University of Ghana. Nuclear Sciences and Applications. So he has a lot of practical and theoretical knowledge in pegmatites and rare metal research. So we have a very powerful team behind us. So he has also published in several reputable journals across the globe. So our guest speaker, Mr. Salam Jansbaka, please may we see your face if he's available.
Prof,
Okay.
I think he's yet to join. He has some emergency.
Okay, that's good. When he appears, of course, he'll be talking, so he will join us very nicely. We have Mr. Joshua Nkansa. He's just a new graduate from our university. He holds first degree in Bachelor of Science, degree in Geological Engineering from the University of Mines and Technology. He's about to start his national service at Anglo-Gold Ashanti, or Boasimai. I think he has started. He should be there by this time. So he has a strong knowledge in mineral exploration, geochemistry, and geotechnical engineering. So I'm very privileged to have all of you here. And we have, AfIMPP is delighted and we are privileged to have Dr. Sunkari here to have a conversation with him. This one is not going to be like a conference presentation. We would like to engage Dr. Sunkari and his co-authors so that at the beginning they will be talking with me. It will be the modus operandi. They will be talking with me. Then along the line, I will invite the public to engage them and ask them some few questions. Then any other issues that come up. So, Dr. Sunkari.
Yes, Prof.
Yes, your paper published in Heliyon. I don't know that I've mentioned the name well. Has brought a lot of attention to the global research community. In fact, there's a lot of media attention to this important report. And I would like to know what inspired your research on tantalum in that particular study area.
All right. Thank you so much, Prof. I would like to, first of all, thank you for this rare opportunity and also thank your institute, AfIMPP, for this particular opportunity to discuss our research findings with you and also the industry partners, our students, academia, and all those that are interested in the mining industry in Ghana. Yeah, so before I even talk about what inspired the research, we may have to first of all know what tantalum is. So tantalum, just like other rare metals, for example, beryllium, we have cesium, we have lithium, we have niobium, tin, and uranium, are mostly derived from pegmatites. They are economic, the economic aspects of them are from pegmatites. And tantalum actually is in the periodic table, when you look at it, is having atomic number 73, and also it is in group 5 of the periodic table. And it's a very important metal. If you look at other parts of the world, people are using it for several purposes. So now back to your question. What inspired this particular research? Actually, we were researching on the petrogenesis of the pegmatites in that enclave of Ghana. If you look at the Cape Coast, Winneba enclave, Owen, there are a lot of pegmatites. But our focus was on the Kibi-Winneba volcanic belt to look at the pegmatites there, how they evolve. When we say pegmatite, these are igneous rocks that have, coarse textures. Their textures are very coarse. And so as we were trying to know how they evolved, how they formed, we realized that these pegmatites contain some unusual concentrations of certain elements. For example, tantalum. We realized that the tantalum concentration was as high as 770 ppm. And when you check the original concentration of the tantalum in the earth crust, it should be about 1.3 ppm, according to Turkin and Wadepool 1961. So that tells you that there is something anomalous going on there. And even the average values were also 260. And that told us that, there is something like tantalum mineralization. So I had to get a student and who is in cancer. I did this research together with my brother Salam. He is actually working in that area for his PhD. And from that work, we were able to derive inference from the data and realize that tantalum has some potential in the area. Then Incansa worked on it as his bachelor project work. Thank you, Prof.
Yeah, very interesting, your opening statement. But please, I would like to know, can you summarize your key findings from the research you conducted with your student and your colleague from University of Ghana? Just some key findings.
Thank you so much, Prof. So for this research also, the research was actually targeted at unearthing the exploration vectors to the tantalum mineralization in the pegmatites within the Bewadze-Mankoadze area in the central region of Ghana. So with this particular aim that was set, what did we do? We had to do field studies, and in the field studies, we were able to depict that the rocks were actually granitic pegmatites because they contained some minerals. When you check, they had abundance of albite, we had some plagioclase, and then we also had some, tantalum-bearing minerals like the columbite group of minerals. We call them coltan, that is columbite and tantalite. They were abundant in the rocks, and that suggested that the rocks were rich with tantalum. So now we were able to classify them as granitic pegmatites, and then we now had to do geochemical analysis. And the geochemical analysis, and that was from Salam's previous work with me. We did some work together, and we realized that the tantalum
those with dark atlas, those two guys.
We realized that the tantalum concentrations actually range from 10.5 to 773 ppm with an average concentration of 260 ppm, which I said in my initial statement is above the crustal concentration of 1.3. Some books will even say 2. Even when you look at pegmatites that host tantalum, their normal concentration should be like, tantalum should be like 2.0 ppm. But we had even average concentration of 260 ppm. That tells you that almost all the area, we sampled about 50 samples, 50 rock samples, and because of logistic constraints, we had to now do selection among the 50 samples, the best representative ones, and we used 10 of them for this particular research. So now we were able to realize also that in terms of the geochemical vectors, pegmatites that are albitized, albitization, they contained a lot of albite in them, were the ones that were actually mineralized, having the tantalum-bearing minerals. And so albitization was the predominant vector for getting the tantalum in the pegmatites. Now from there, we then had to do geostatistical analysis, and from that, we were able to delineate the pathfinder elements. The pathfinder elements, Prof, let me go a little bit into some,
Yes, because not all of us are geologists.
Exactly.
I remember your voice are strong. Okay.
So, Prof, yes. I know you have a wife, and now before you came to school today, you may have told, and you told your wife, I know, that you are going to school. Yes. Your wife knows wherever you go. Now, when you are dealing with mineral deposits, there are some friends of those precious metals, of which when you are looking for that precious metal, you can't get it easily. Look for its friends. The moment you get its friends, they will guide you to where it is. So when the friends are in abundance at a particular locality or in a particular rock, there is a high chance of getting the precious metal you are looking for.
Yeah,
So
fantastic.
that is what we call pathfinder elements.
Pathfinder element. That's great.
Exactly. So from the
Powerful.
geochemical analysis, we're able to get that the pathfinder elements were scandium, gallium, niobium, cesium. So if you are looking for tantalum in Bewadze-Mankoadze area, you take pegmatites, analyze for the geochemical composition, and then you realize that these elements are of higher concentration, then there is the likelihood you will find tantalum. So that is what we found. And the anomalies we delineated were actually related to the southwestern fringe of that particular area.
Yes. Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Sunkari. You have enumerated a lot of things. In fact, I'm now remembering my geology classes. Yeah, please, I'm appealing to all of you, mute your microphones so that we can easily hear from him. So please, with the information you have obtained, the research you have done here in Ghana, how does research contribute to the global understanding of tantalum? Because we have, I mean, our unique case, because I think you were giving the international data, the average concentration, the usual one, and the high concentration you found there and all that. So how does that one contribute to the global understanding of tantalum as researcher?
Thank you so much, Prof, for this wonderful question. So the research we have done is actually significant with respect to the contributions that it will give to the global understanding of tantalum. Some of the ways it will contribute to the global understanding are, first, we have identified tantalum mineralization in the area. All right. Now, Prof, I would like to go a little bit deeper into this. If you give me that laxity, a lot of geologists confuse themselves with mineral deposit and ore deposit. There is a difference between a mineral deposit and an ore deposit from economic geology perspective. When you say a mineral deposit, it is an element that is of unusual concentration with respect to its background concentration on the earth. Like I gave you the base, 1.3 or 2 ppm of tantalum. Then you realize that it is more than that from our research up to 700 and something. Then that becomes like a mineral deposit. So, and what mineral is it? It's what? Tantalum deposit. But now when you say tantalum ore deposit, or when you say ore deposit, it means that mineral that is of higher concentration is having an economic value. And you can only get to know that when you do detailed research. This, our work, is preliminary research that has actually been able to tell us, yes, there is unusual concentration, potential for an ore deposit, but we cannot call it an ore deposit now unless you go to do detailed exploratory work to know whether it's economical. So all mineral deposits are not ore deposits, but all ore deposits are what? Mineral deposits.
Mineral deposits.
That is what we need to set clear to the understanding.
Yeah, that's what we, the mining people, that's what we care about.
Exactly. Now, so in the global understanding, yes, I mean, we have been able to discover tantalum mineralization from the exploratory approach we have used, and this is expanding the global reserves of this precious metal. People are going to know that. Now, another contribution is about the geochemical exploration techniques used. These are not things that are so much in our area here. People don't use these often in research works. So we use geostatistical approaches, okay? And then the steady refined geochemical exploration techniques for the tantalum, being able to know the vectors at the same time, the pathfinder elements. And this can be extrapolated to other places in the world. Now, even with the information we've gotten, it can help in resource assessment. So because the research is contributing to a more accurate assessment of tantalum resources, especially in the Bewadze-Mankoadze area and potentially other regions in Ghana, and which have similar geological characteristics. Another aspect we could also look at is understanding tantalum mineralization. When you have tantalum mineralization in any part of Ghana, what are the features? So it's adding knowledge to that. And we've been able to show that the pegmatite-hosted tantalum deposits are the ones that are economical. Research has proven that. So we need to prove deeper whether the one we have is economical or it is not. So in summary, Prof, the research provides valuable insights into tantalum exploration and then the mineralization potential in the area, which is actually contributing to the global understanding of this critical metal.
Yeah, this powerful. You have given us an overview of the tantalum deposit and the geology, and so you have covered questions about the primary bearing minerals. You are giving me more information and our audience about the geological setting of this tantalum bearing deposits in the region there, and so the deposits in this southern Ghana. You have compared them with other key deposits. I mean, in globally. So I would like us to move. It's all about money. Life is all about money. I mean,
Yes, Prof.
what therefore we are doing. So I would like us to look at potential economic benefits of developing tantalum resources in Ghana.
The potential
As economic geologist. Yes.
Okay. All right. So thank you so much. Maybe I will give the opportunity to some of my team members if they are available. Perhaps they can contribute so that it won't be.
Yes. Salam, I think the other gentleman. Please, has he come on board?
He said he was trying to connect, but in cancer is around, so maybe you can.
In cancer, please, can you may you come in?
Okay, so yeah, my line was a little bit, but can you come again with a question, please?
Yeah, we are looking at what are the potential economic benefits of developing tantalum resources in Ghana. Potential.
Okay.
We are not fully yet there.
Yeah, so one, the mining of the tantalum mineral is potential to Ghana and the whole global, and also we mining tantalum, it's going to create jobs for we the young ones. Because looking at the mineral tantalum, it is having a lot of benefits, looking at its high capacitance and also it less resistance to release the charges. If you look at the properties of the tantalum mineral, to be precise, it says high capacitance. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello, we can hear you, please. Proceed.
I think I can't get a feedback on my end.
Okay.
If you have a problem with your network, Prof, let me take over.
Please.
All right. So Prof asked about the potential economic benefits of tantalum mining in Ghana. The development of tantalum resources in Ghana offers a lot of potential, economic benefits. We can put them in thematic areas. One could be increased revenue and foreign exchange earnings for the nation. And under that, we have export revenues. When we are able to mine this tantalum, just like how we mine gold and the others, and we are able to export it, it can generate significant foreign exchange earnings for the country. And then we can also get what we call government revenue. The companies that are mining the tantalum or that will be mining the tantalum, there will be some royalties, there will be some taxes and some fees associated with even the mining and the processing. All that government can derive some benefit from that. It's not that different from the other metals we've already had and we have been mining and all that. Now, as my colleague said, or my co-author and my former student said, there's job creation and economic growth. And in that, we can have what we call direct employment, and where people are employed, to do the work. We will have geologists, mining engineers, metallurgists, and all the allied professions. All those people will be employed. There will even be people who will be selling food, the service industry. People will get jobs on that. We have what we call indirect employment. And with that, the development of the tantalum can stimulate economic growth.
You have elaborated sufficiently to my satisfaction. I would like us to look at future research and development issues. So, please, what future research direction do you propose for tantalum in Ghana, as you are finished with this particular one?
All right, Prof, thank you so much. So first of all, I must, say as a scientist, I believe in one scientist we call Isaac Newton. We all know him. He said, if you see me see further, or if I see further, it is because I stood on the shoulders of giants. I
Good.
cannot say we would have been able to do this research without relying on knowledge of previous researchers around that periphery, not Bewadze-Mankoadze per se, but within the Kibi-Winneba Belt and also around the Cape Coast and Winneba area. There were some researches that were conducted on pegmatites in those areas. Some people were able to even prove that there is columbite tantalite minerals in other areas in that particular enclave. But in Bewadze-Mankoadze, it is from our previous research works with my brother Salam that I talked about, and also this particular work that we have been able to harness the exploration potential of it. So now the future research should be directed towards doing deposit characterization. You remember I said that there's a difference between mineral deposit and ore deposit.
Yes.
Now, we have realized that there is anomalous concentration. We have to characterize the deposit now to know whether it is economical or not. And then we have to do some geophysical surveys and all that to complement what we are doing.
Good. You have given us how your research methodology, your data collection, and all that, which is very, very important. So as you were doing all this, I would like to know what unexpected discoveries or insights emerged during your work, your research. You went there with an idea, but what unexpected insights came out? I would like to I would like you to give us some any unexpected
Right. Thank you so much, Prof.
insights.
Thank you so much. So as I told you in the initial comments or the first question you asked me, I mentioned that initially we were working on the petrogenesis of the pegmatites. I mean, we're trying to know the evolution, how they formed. Our interest was not even on tantalum. But we later on realized from the geochemical composition of the pegmatites that tantalum was anomalous, of higher concentration beyond the threshold values we know for the crust and also for pegmatites of that nature. So in science, we call this serendipity. You are looking for something.
Please repeat the word for me.
Serendipity.
Okay.
You are looking
Meaning
for something,
what, please? And
in the end, you get something else which you were not looking for. And that is exactly what I can use to describe our work.
That's powerful. I like the response. So we would like this discussion to be very brief. You know, data is very expensive in Ghana, so we don't spend much time online. So I would like to come for the audience engagement with Dr. Sunkari and collaborators and other researchers. So my audience, as we are talking, we have about 76 people connected here, and it's a conversation. So I would like to, my audience, what questions do you have for Dr. Sunkari and collaborators? When you raise your hand, you use your reaction to raise your hand for me.
Hello.
Yes, yes, Charles October, please.
Yes, Prof. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you very much for the opportunity, and
yes,
Dr. Sunkari for this presentation to us. I was about to ask him a question that inspired him to do the research in tantalum instead of gold. But I learned with his last comment, he has been able to answer that for us. That he went there for a different issue, and that one came up. So thank you very much. And my question is, doing that research, what are the most significant challenges in studying the tantalum?
All right. Thank
you.
Good.
Very good question. Thank you very much, Mr. Tobra.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you,
you so
sir.
much,
Thank you, Prof.
Mr. Charles Akobra. So yes, there is no research that you will do without encountering challenges or some encumbrances. So during the research, the access to the place was the problem. The place is remote. I mean, if in Kansas network is good, he would tell you. When we went there, there's a river. We had to cross the river. We had to even we had to rent or hire a hunter to lead us to the field because there are a lot of wild animals in that area. We had to cross the river to be able to see the pegmatites. And then we're now able to do our field studies there. And then apart from that, logistic constraints, economic constraints. There's no enough money, budgetary constraints. That is why we're able to sample just 50 samples. And out of the 50, we were able to take representative 10 to do this particular research. So if we have enough research or investment, we can take it to a larger scale. So these are the two challenges.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Well done. And Prof, my last question is, I just want to know from Doug, are there any Ghanaian research institution focusing on tantalum based on his research? Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you so much. I think when this thing came to the limelight, there has been a lot of debate and, people are saying this research has been in existence. Yes, we don't doubt that fact. Let me make it clear. People have worked on columbite tantalite minerals, all right, in other parts of Ghana, especially in the Cape Coast area, APAM, okay? If you go to Winneba, the people have worked on those things, and Akimo, that area, they've worked on those. But this is the first time we have been able to do exploration work or exploratory work on the Bewadze-Mankoadze deposit specifically, all right? So going to your question, I think, what was your specific question?
Are there any Ghanaian research institution focusing on tantalum?
Yes. So the Geological Survey Authority of Ghana has been doing mapping. We can't doubt that fact. They have been doing mapping in the whole of Ghana. And so they have some base maps that will tell you, okay, this place has this potential.
Thank you very much. I think you have answered it. Sorry for the interruption. Please, I would like to go to Zeon, Onesimus Zeon. Sorry if I don't pronounce your name well.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
My name is Onesimus Zeon. I hail from Liberia. I'm one of the master students in the University of Mines and Technology. I'm actually supervised by Dr. Sunkari in hydrogeochemistry, groundwater quality in specific. I would like to commend Dr. Sunkari for this brilliant research that is an eye-opener to Africa. For me, I'm actually interested because in Liberia, we have a lot of mineral deposits, but due to inadequate professionals in the country, we don't have much people who, have adequate knowledge on these performance elements that would, indicate that such mineralization exists in our country. So from what I just read on the internet, the tantalum mineral has some performance elements that Dr. Sunkari didn't mention in his research, but I would like to know if you do an exploration, Dr. Sunkari, and you found that some performance elements like imminent, rutile, and other heavy minerals are performance elements are they performance elements to the tantalum mineral?
Okay, thank you so much for your question. But
yeah, before I can go to my next question, that's what I want to know. If they can be mineral.
Yeah. So let me do a little bit, how do you call it? Correction here. We have pathfinder elements and we have indicator minerals. Let's not confuse ourselves with minerals and elements. What you mentioned, rutile and others are minerals, not elements. The elements are what I mentioned, scandium, niobium, and all that. So those ones are called pathfinder elements. But the minerals that contain the elements that when you analyze and can use that as pathfinder elements, those minerals are called indicator minerals. Now, with respect to this particular study that we have, the indicator minerals are not what you mentioned, like ilmenite and all that. No, because ilmenite is iron rich. And maybe when you are looking for iron and all that, that rutile that you'll be looking for, you know, or titanium that you'll be looking for, this kind of minerals. But for our case, we are looking at the columbite group minerals, as I stated before. These are the indicator minerals. Columbite group minerals. So we have columbite and tantalite. Tantalite is actually very rich in tantalum, and we were able to discover that. So those are the indicator minerals in our study.
Good. Thank you very much. Please, may I go to Professor James Dankwa? I've seen your hand up.
Okay. Thank you very much, Chair, and thank you very much, Dr. Sunkari.
Yes.
There are a couple of things that I want to find out. In the publicity that has come with the publication, there is mention of University of Johannesburg. What is the relationship of University of Johannesburg to this project? And secondly, I've put that even in the chat box. One of the key elements that is listed in your pathfinder elements is niobium. And my question is, even at this early stage, how much niobium are you seeing in your elemental analysis, which could spell even a path to complete beneficiation that includes ways to isolate these pathfinder elements that are in reasonable concentrations?
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prof.
You want to know niobium concentration in the data? And how that the contributed for commercial interest in the study area? I think you put in the chat too.
All right. Thank you so much, Prof. Dankwa. Yeah, so Dankwa. So actually, I'm doing postdoctoral research fellowship at the University of Johannesburg. I mean, maybe in my introduction, I don't know whether Prof mentioned it. I'm currently at the Department of Chemical Sciences, and I believe Prof. James Dankwa, you worked there before. You were HOD before. I've heard a lot about.
I'm still associated with them, and if you are there, I'll see you next week.
Oh, okay, then that's great, because since I came, I've not met you, but my host has spoken a lot about you. Prof. Ambushe is the one I'm working with.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yes. So that is why, I mean, the paper has University of Johannesburg as one of the affiliations. Now, with respect to the niobium concentration, if you check in our work, we have about 3.1 to about 78 ppm of the niobium concentrations in the, the samples. So, but as to whether the niobium concentration that, I mean, from your question, you said, does it make it a metal of commercial interest? Well, we need to probe that into detail, whether the niobium is anomalous or not, because our interest was not actually on niobium, but I can tell you that enclave is actually enriched with these rare metals and rare elements. They are dominant over there. So if maybe further research can take that particular direction to look at the niobium, is going to be an addition. But we were able to see that it is a pathfinder element or a guide to the tantalum.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, you're welcome, Prof. I think, Prof. Adjei, you are muted.
Okay, sorry. I would like to call Bartholomew. Then there's a question there. So where do Zahir? Before we finish, Bartholomew, you look at the question on the chat. Please, Bartholomew.
Okay, Prof.
Okay.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. Please, I wanted to ask concerning the tantalum, the environmental challenges or situations in case where we find out that after exploration it is economically mineable. Is there any environmental challenges considering how that currently we have about 60% of the water bodies in Ghana exported, a whole lot of issues regarding that. Does this tantalum mineral, if found economically mineable, does it have any environmental challenges That is what I want to know. Thank you very much.
All right.
Okay,
Thank you so much, Bartholomew, for the wonderful question. In fact, I must tell you as an economic geologist, there is no mining process that would not have an environmental challenge. But it is based on, going by the laid down regulations and being able to offset those risks and those potential, things that to do to the environment. So, but the good aspect of this particular mineral is that it is hosted in pegmatites. Let me give you a brief explanation on the types of, tantalum hosted deposits. We have pegmatite hosted deposits, we have carbonatite hosted deposits, and placer deposits. Now, the type we have found is the pegmatite hosted. And pegmatite hosted can be mined through open pit and underground. And that will tell you that it's going to be a little bit difficult for our so-called galamseyers to go into this. So the environmental challenge is going to be a little bit solved, except you have a lot of money that you can do open pit mining or underground mining. So that one will be largely regulated. So in that aspect, we know that there will not be a lot of environmental challenges. But if it was the placer deposit where the galamseyers can just pan, they are just fetching and panning like how they do gold, then that is where we'll be having a lot of pollution and all that on our water bodies. But that does not take away the fact that there can also still be some kind of pollution to the environment. But that is why the Environmental Protection Agency is there. You must get a permit, be able to tell us how you can mitigate those risks before they will allow you to do the mining. Thank you.
Thank you. We have a question on the chat box from Swedu Sahir. Please, may you attend to that. Thank you for this opportunity. I wanted to know how sampling done actually reflects the direct representation of the material, since it was just a fifth of the total, or simply how was sampling bias reduced? I'm sure the person likes statistics, geostatistics or something like that.
All right.
Thank you very much for your question.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, so as we went to the field, our interest, first we had to do what we call reconnaissance survey, going there to actually observe without taking samples. So we're able to know areas that are potential areas for the tantalum based on, what we see in the rocks. Then we now targeted those areas. So when we got to those areas, our sampling protocol was actually in the form that we were looking at rocks that showed features of tantalum-bearing minerals or that contain the tantalum-bearing minerals. That was our focus, like the coltan, like I mentioned, columbite, tantalite. There are also some associated minerals like tourmaline, beryl. All these are also, if they are even gemstones, gems, you can use them as precious gemstones or whatever. People who are into gemology, it is of interest because we have a lot of tourmaline, we have a lot of beryl over there. So when we saw those ones, that now actually reduced the effort of combing around the whole area. Then we now focused on those particular rocks, and then we started doing our sampling.
Doug, you are muted. Dr. Sunkari, you are muted. I think Dr. Sunkari is muted. Please.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, sorry. Yeah. I'm muted and I've been talking all this while. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then let me go back. Sorry for that. So I explained that before we even started the work, we had to do what we call reconnaissance survey by going to the field to actually observe and know the rocks that are in the area and those that show features of tantalum-bearing minerals. Now, having had that, we're able to now come to re-strategize and go to the field to now do the sampling. So what we did was we're able to now delineate areas that are having the tantalum-bearing minerals. I already mentioned to you, we have what we call, the coltan. We have columbite, we have tantalite. There are also associated minerals like tourmaline, beryl, All right. And these are gemstones. Those who are into gemology, if you are into gemology, beryl and tourmaline are dominant in that area, which can also be harnessed for a different potential. So when we're able to now know those rocks that contain those minerals, we focused on them. And then we did some kind of random sampling, but it was a little bit purposive because we were interested in those rocks that had the minerals of interest. We sampled about 50 of them. But out of the 50, because of logistic constraints, we had to now take representative samples from the 50, and then we did the analysis. That cannot take away the fact that there is potential for mineralization of tantalum in the area. There is, but the limitation is that we were not able to use a large sample number.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sunkari. There's another question here. Prince Foley, we'll take last two questions, then we'll open it for a different level. Yes, Prince Foley, please, your question. Prince, your hand, I've seen your hand is up. I'm sure maybe the person is not currently with the device. Okay, so...
good morning, Dr.
Prince, please, are you asking the question?
Yes, please. Please, good morning to you all.
Good morning, sir. Yes, please. Please, you are on air.
Yes, please. Please, my question is
It seems the connectivity is bad. The feed is not helping. Please, Prince, please, can you type your question for us? It seems the feed is...
Your concept and everything for us to also proceed. And my little question that I also have to ask, yes, as a methodologist, as an outcome methodologist, is that
yeah, I didn't get the question. I didn't think I got the question. Please, we didn't hear you clearly. Please, can you type the question for us in the chat? Your internet is not stable. So,
there are some questions in the chat box.
Okay. Please, you read them and answer them.
All right. Okay. So there's a question. Please, what role does recycling play in the tantalum industry? And are there significant advancements in tantalum recovery from electronic waste?
From Perez Hezron.
Yes. So thank you so much. Yes. So if you look at the economic use or benefits of tantalum, it can be used in the electronic industry for capacitors, resistors, and all that, batteries and all that. So some of these things, when they are spoiled and then maybe they are thrown away, you can recycle them, and perhaps you may be able to, extract some amount of the tantalum that was used in the manufacture of those ones. But that is not my focus because I'm not a metallurgist or a mineral engineer. I would not like to delve into that. I'm a geologist. But I think there is a potential for that. Since they contain tantalum, you can still get it back. All right. Now, the other question is, please, is there a way to validate this mineral with machine learning? That's great. And this is coming from Sundre Place. Yes, we are now in a technologically advanced world, and everyone now is incorporating machine learning into researches. In fact, you have even taken the seal out of my mouth. It is an ongoing work. So right now, what we are trying to do is to incorporate machine learning algorithms in predicting the mineral occurrence in the area to validate our findings. So like some algorithms like random forest, GBoost, and the others, we are going to compare and get the optimal one, and then that will validate our findings. I mean, a student can even take it like a project work at master's, PhD level, and we can work on it.
Good. Fantastic.
I will clarity on this. Primary titanium-bearing minerals could be rutile ilmenite. Titanium-bearing minerals could be rutile and ilmenite. And if ilmenite made up of this, does this indicate a titanium deposit in the area? Well, we are not working on titanium.
Yeah.
We are working on tantalum. So if research has found titanium-bearing minerals, like I think you asked this before and I answered, rutile, ilmenite, and all that. If research has found that there, then there is a need to go deeper to know whether it is of anomalous concentration, it is economical or not. Then you can know whether titanium can actually be extracted from those titanium-bearing minerals. But for our research, our focus is on tantalum.
Yes. Thank you very much. We have spent 47 minutes. It's very interesting, this conversation. But since it's a conversation, I would like to also throw a question to the audience to answer. It's not only from Dr. Sunkari. So what do you think Dr. Sunkari's research can impact your work? How do you think Dr. Sunkari's work can impact your work or your industry? How do you think? That one is an open question to all of us. How do you think Dr. Sunkari's research can impact your work or your industry? It's a conversation, so that one is for all of us. If nobody speaks, if somebody speaks, we like it. Then another question, which is general to all of us, any potential collaborations or partnerships, which one of them can emerge from this research? As we are talking now, Dr. Sunkari is collaborating in South Africa in the University of Johannesburg. So all of you here, we have many researchers. So what potential collaborations or partnerships can emerge from this research? It's a conversation, so we are all here. Questions to Dr. Sunkari, questions to us, all of us. Well, so yes, Daniel Afi.
All right.
How can it
Thank you
impact
so much.
your work or industry? Which work are
Thank
you
you
doing?
so much for this opportunity. I hope I'm audible enough.
Yes, please. You're on air. Very well.
All right. Because of tantalum's potential to be used in the production of capacitors, I'm not going to speak in relation to my industry, but in relation to where I hail from. I'm from the Upper East region, where we have a lot of sun, which we can actually harvest for solar energy. Now, through some research I did, I realized that the main problem we are encountering in solar energy storage is the fact that we don't have enough facilities to store this kind of energy for further usage. So if the resource, the tantalum in question, is actually of economic quantity, then we can actually use that to produce these storage facilities to be able to harbor this energy, solar energy. So my main concern is for us to have this resource in a very large quantity and also have the facilities through correct policy implementation to be able to refine this resource rather than the normal traditional way where we always mine the raw resource, take them away, and then we are not able to actually exploit them to the maximum capacity.
Exactly. Like how we have reached with our manganese, I think we shouldn't go that way. Manganese, and now away our deposit. We are just trying to crash, mail, and send. Good. So, Salam, you are welcome. Salam.
Yes.
Yes, you are welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Doc.
Yes, we were trying to get you on board, but since the network didn't do us the favor.
Yes. I'm sorry I could not join much earlier.
Yes, sir.
And I guess a lot of discussion have gone on.
Yes. So we were looking at, there was an we were talking about the geology, the beginning, we're looking at the geological setting, the mineral bearing, and all that. But we have skipped there. So if you would like to add if you would like to, we are almost getting to the end. So we'd like to hear your concluding remarks or a comment about the work you have done. Congratulations for very important work. So if you would like to add something.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. I believe my co-author, Dr. Sunkari, has done justice to the topic, as he always do. What I would like to add is that the search for critical and transition minerals in Ghana is an ongoing research. We are calling on all researchers, industry players, for us to collaborate and work together. The work has not yet been done. There are other potential areas we can do more research with better technology to uncover more mineral potentials in Ghana. I would also like to say that several people have made a lot of attempts for us to get to where we are. From local sources, that area, we hear that Anglo Gold Asante, AGC, AGA, tried to do exploration in the area. They dug some pits. We've observed some of those pits. Other researchers have done a lot of work, like KC 1985 on the mineral resources of Ghana. Dr. Agoma did a PhD work on the area. He reported some minerals there which we built on. Cheloku Etel did some work in that area. I also wrote my master's thesis and PhD thesis on the area. Notwithstanding, this work has brought a different dimension, as I believe my colleague have explained.
Yes.
I would like to acknowledge the efforts of all my advisors, supervisors from masters to PhD, who has brought me up to this level and has advised us a lot on this. I don't know whether I have time to mention their names.
You can mention their names if you can remember
Yes.
all of them. If it doesn't bring maybe some of them may be left
First
behind.
is Professor Samuel Bochedampare of Ghana Atomic Energy Commission and also of the School of Nuclear and Allied Sciences. Second is Professor Prosper Mackenzie Nude of the Department of Earth Science, University of Ghana. Professor Daniel Kojo Asedu of that same department. Professor Amponsa of that department. And also Dr. Marieke van Lichtervelde of the Geosciences Environment Tools, France. They have made a lot of contribution. They published some work earlier, giving an indication which gave us a clue to further advance in this research. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you very much, Salam Jansbaka Adams, for this clarification. Of course, my colleague Sunkari even said that they are standing on the shoulders of giants. So those who are putting misconception that the paper is misleading and all that, I would like to put on record that media reportage is different from scientific reports. So the way the media was reporting this particular research is different from what the researchers have put on their paper. I mean, in the scientific journal. So let's get that one clearly. They are not making any false claims. They have also added something to the body of knowledge we have in the area, and specifically to their study area, which was very scanty. So they are not making any false claims. So we have to look at that one carefully. In fact, these are some of the things that motivated we at the African Institution of Mining Professionals and Practitioners to call you to come and engage the public to clarify some of these things. Because there's a paper we started hearing this and that. No. They are not, because I had the opportunity to go through your paper briefly when those things were coming. I read it and I didn't find anything strange about the work, though I'm not a geologist, but I had a fair idea about your conclusions and findings. So we are very happy that this clarification has come on this platform as well. And we appreciate that. Please, do we have any question, final question for the researchers before we wrap up?
Prof, someone has asked a question and he's writing, we've not answered it. I think it's Prince Foley. The one that was asking the question. He said, as a minerals engineering undergrad, normally tantalum has high affinity to react with oxygen and forms tantalum oxide. But we want to spatter oxide-free tantalum. Is there any way to deposit oxide-free tantalum, or is there any tantalum alloy which cannot react with oxygen when we deposit a thin film by spattering or evaporator? Yeah, I think this is so much into minerals and
Mineral
metallurgical engineering.
processing.
Yeah, mineral processing.
So mineral processing, do we have mineral processing person online here to help us a conversation?
But I
We
think
are
this
all here to
conversation is
learn.
getting interesting. It means our mineral processors also have a role to play. They are research potentials.
Yes. Good.
Can I say?
James? Yes.
Yeah. Can I say something briefly?
Yes.
I think the young man's question is interesting, but the key issue here is that you're dealing with early transition metals.
Okay.
And by their nature, they react with oxygen. So for you to be able to avoid it reacting with oxygen, you're going to have to do your sputtering in an inert atmosphere. So either under argon or nitrogen, so that even with nitrogen, the chances are that the affinity for the tantalum or any of the early transition metals to form nitrites are there. So you have to go to an inert gas atmosphere to do your sputtering. If you're trying to avoid it getting in contact with oxygen.
All right.
Minerals engineering, more work for you, more in-depth analysis. I've seen Prosper Mining, Prosper Foucault. Prosper Foucault is he's an executive member of the student chapter of the African Institution of Mining Professionals and Practitioners. Yeah, Prosper, please.
Good morning, Prof. Thanks for the platform. My main question was, how can tantalum recycling contribute to a more sustainable electronics industry?
The recycling?
Yes, please.
Yeah, but yes, we have answered it by the question. Once we are able to recycle, the sustainability will be there because we will not go to the primary source. We'll be able to use the material we have taken. So that recycling is good to protect the environment. And help to save natural resources as well. But if somebody would like to add something, recycling is one of the sustainable ways we can use materials. Once we recycle in an environmentally friendly manner. But if somebody would like to add, that would be fine. That's mine. So we were able to reach about 80 listeners during the peak of the discussion. It seems a lot of people have taken. In fact, me, I've learned a lot today. I'm not the same as when I came here. AfI, please do you have another question or something?
Yes, Doc. Prof, sorry.
Yes, don't worry. Let's go on.
Most of the
go on, please. You're on air. We'd like to close.
Solutions.
This one will be the last contribution. Yes.
Hello, Prof. Yes, sir. I was speaking about the solutions being provided so far, especially about the reaction in an inert environment and all of that. Of course, it is going to be one of the best ways to reduce the oxidation or that reaction. But the feasibility of these solutions also have to come in check, because when we are dealing with minerals in general, we are always about optimizing and reducing costs. So if these are the solutions we are providing, we have to also make an economic analysis to ascertain whether it is going to lead us to a profit zone or it's going to cost us more. So that's just a suggestion I have to say.
Dr.
I hope you
Adjei,
got
I
my
think
submission.
you are muted.
I hope,
Hello.
thank you. I think next time we'll have to come for processing. I think the you math people, we are picking the topic very well.
Yes.
The mineral metallurgical people are interested in what is happening, but the geologists are giving us information on site, and that's what we tend to focus on. But I'm happy that processing insights are also coming to this discussion, which is very, very important. So I think
Hello,
that,
Prof.
yes, please.
I have something to say on that.
Okay.
We as researchers, we as industry players, we need to collaborate and do interdisciplinary research, collaborative research.
Good.
The geologists cannot do it alone. The engineers cannot do it alone. It is high time we collaborate and do a better research for the benefit of our mother Ghana.
Yes.
We need to do more collaboration.
So as you math is one-stop shop for mining and minerals engineering, all that, I think we will have to look at that direction and work out with Dr. Sunkari and collaborators and your team, so that we incorporate mineral processing, mining, and all of us come together and do collaborative research, as our colleague Salam is saying, which is a very important call for all of us to work together so that we can get that, clear that path for us to get sustainable use of this important mineral, because it's a strategic mineral. In fact, it's the mineral of the future. As we are discussing this, many of these advanced countries will start planning how they can come to Ghana and invest and also do more research. So it's an opportunity for you, the young engineers who are here. The next 15, 13, 40 years of research are in your hands. So these are some of the new areas that can be opened in the University of Mines and Technology. And we should all champion that. And I'm happy that Salam and Joshua and Dr. Sunkari, we all came together to work on this. So before, we have spent 1 hour online, and I would like to give the presenter, the panelists, the opportunity to give us their final comments before we wrap up. May I start with Salam?
Okay, thank you very much. Premium Supergroup of Ghana has a lot of potential with respect to critical and transition minerals. Not only at the Bewadze-Mankoadze and Bewadze-Mankoadze area, but along the coast all the way to Cape Coast. Other researchers have done some work, especially Nudo et al. 2011. At the Akim Oda area, others have done some work, Asedu 2004, Dampara et al. 2005. But we can do more work in that area. So let's see how we can collaborate as geoscientists and engineers to get a better understanding of our mineral deposits for sustainable development. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Salam Jansbaka Adams. Have I pronounced it well, sir?
Yes, please.
Yes. Thank you very much for your concluding remarks. Please, is Joshua online? Has he been able to join? Joshua and Cancer, please. Is he around? Maybe he has issues with the network. But I think Dr. Sunkari will speak on behalf of himself and Joshua. So, Dr. Sunkari, please, your final remarks before we go out.
Thank you so much, Prof. Before I even say anything, I would like to thank you again for this opportunity, and then AfIMPP for organizing this particular short seminar, but it's very educative. And I would like that you continue doing things like this to educate us. Looking at the comments that are coming from our students, I see everyone is so interested. I've even seen somebody from geomatics engineering saying that, please, how can geomatics engineering students benefit from this research? That tells you that it's a collective thing. Everyone is interested. If you look at the special distribution we did, we had to use GIS. We had to use Kriging interpolation technique. Without the knowledge of geomatics or GIS, we would not be able to do this. So you can play
the way.
Yes, you can play a critical role. That's what we're able to say the thing is actually dominant in the Southwestern, if not through GIS. So you can play a key role. So I would like to actually say, let's look at the good aspect of this thing. Forget about the media reportage that is so sensational and people are coming here and there. Let's forget about that, but look at the good aspect. I have seen that even a lot of Ghanaians do not even know what tantalum is. No, and most people, even geologists, don't even know much about tantalum. Let's try to educate people about it and the potential areas that are available to get it more. And also, let's try to let our students study engineering. It is the way. Look at this guy in Cancer. He was a bachelor student, but he was able to do this seminal work, which is in a Q1 rated journal. So thank you so much. And I would like to thank everyone for joining and listening.
Good. Thank you so much. And thank you, Dr. Sunkari. Thank you, Mr. Salam and Joshua Nkansa. And thank you, my distinguished listeners and all those who asked questions, those who wrote their questions on the wall, and all those who paid attention. We thank all of you for coming. In fact, we know data is expensive in Ghana, but because of your love for knowledge and this important work, you have joined us this morning, Friday. Thank you very much. And we'll continue discussing these issues as they came up. As they come up. So please, we thank all of you very much for your time, and may God bless us all. With this, I will say we have finished with this conversation with Dr. Sunkari and collaborators on tantalum work. So we thank all of you and have a blessed weekend. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prof, for this opportunity.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Prof. James
Prof.
Nakwa,
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I wish to meet you.
I've seen a lot of AfIMPP.
Sunkari.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you.
Sunkari.
Yes.
Yes.
Sunkari. Thank you. Thank you. Now he's Sunkari.
Eric Professor Eric Thompson. I can see my senior brother Shadrach.
Tantalum.
All right, Charlie, you guys have done well. Thank you for joining.
Dr. Sunkari.
Yes, Onesimus.
I pray and hope that the floral contamination in groundwater in some part of those regions will have more attention like this.
We have stated it. I have a review paper coming out and I'm making a recommendation. I think Salam and I have some conversation on. We are working on a project where we'll be looking at those kind of things in that area because pegmatites contain a lot of fluoride-bearing minerals. There's a possibility, all right? So we are looking for all of you to come on board. If you have interest, we can work together. All right. Bye-bye.